Welcome to part 8 of our Kgalagadi Winter adventure. This is our third day at Polentswa campsite, and on this day we decided to take the drive up to Union's End for the very first time. It was a beautiful day. We woke up early and took an early start and decided to drive some of the back roads around Dry. The Dry area is really scenic and beautiful, so if you ever have time, I would say it's worth driving those loops and the back roads around Dry. The sand is not too bad, the roads are not too bad, the grasses are higher on the sides, but it is a very beautiful area and you'll find lots of bird life and the smaller mammals all around. Animals, which is a buffalo, had a march where the main buffaloes in the front and all the other.
I'm recording, by the way.
Okay, well I can tell the story. And all the buffalo follow, and it's one of my favorite photos. Is watching this sort of charge of buffalo coming towards us.
It's pretty scary as well. Do you mean the stampede?
No, they were just walking. But it was a lot of buffalo, and now it's changing shape.
Is that buffalo?
So pretty though.
Are those buffalo?
They're still coming. Look.
No, those are wildebeest. No.
Yeah.
Whilst we were driving, we saw coming towards one of the waterholes a whole herd of wildebeest, and it looked like they were coming in a bit of a line, almost like a march, and it reminded us of an experience we had once had at Addo with a whole herd of buffalo coming to a waterhole, which is always in the front with the dominant and all the others trailing behind. It makes for a beautiful photograph. It's one of my most favorite photographs, really, of all time. I really do like the buffalo. And the wildebeest sighting over here reminded me very much of that.
We were so excited to come across a couple of leopard chucks on our way up to Union's End on one particular morning. It has been many, many years since we've had a really nice leopard sighting. 2 years ago at the Kgalagadi, we had one in the distance. We sat for about 2.5, 3 hours in 40-degree heat with two really uncomfortable kids in the car. And the leopard did show its face, probably just for like a second or two, just enough time for us to get not so good photo. So you can imagine how excited we were to see these chucks in the road. Unfortunately, it was not to be. We lost sight of the chucks, they disappeared, and we did not get lucky on this morning. We came across this pygmy falcon on top of one of the trees on one of our morning drives. We so wanted to get a nice picture of these guys because we haven't seen too many of them in the park. We both were unfortunately not able to take a decent picture of them. I did, however, get a really nice picture of the pygmy falcon flying towards us a couple of years ago, which we will put in.
One of the waterholes further up north after the Layers Drive picnic site is a waterhole named, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Geinab. It is a particularly beautiful waterhole. It reminded me a little bit of Saucy's Flay with the dead trees in this big, what appeared to be like a pan area. And yeah, it was particularly beautiful in that region. I think at some point I'd like to stay in one of those wilderness camps, which we've never stayed in, and get there early in the morning. I can imagine it being quite an epic place. Union's End was a lovely experience. It was vast and far more open than I expected it to be. I think some of the other footage I've seen had a lot more grass, long grass, where our experience was more like a massive open pan. The Union's End picnic site was a lot better than I thought it would be. It was vast and open, however, it was very, very windy that afternoon by the time we made our way back, so the wind did affect our ability to do much in that area or sit and enjoy a nice picnic outside. It was also very dry, so there was a lot of little sand whirlwinds blowing around, as well as just generally sand blowing in your face, so it wasn't entirely comfortable. Whilst making our way back to Polentswa, we did cross a pan where we saw one of these sandy whirlwinds blowing quite near to us, and I had to quickly close my window as this whole whirlwind passed our car. It's quite funny how whilst the whirlwind is going through our car, a little boy was about to open the window to feel what it was like outside. So you'll see at the end of the video clip us shouting at him, "No!"
Yo, look. Oh, didn't get it. Ah! Jeez!
Whoa.
Look at that. No. Because the summer melons were in season, we were hoping to get a little bit of interaction with some of the smaller animals with the melons. A couple of weeks prior to the trip, we saw a really incredible photo of a hollowed out summer melon with a little shrew inside. What a capture that was. And I was hoping for the same. Did not quite get the mouse or the shrew inside the summer melon. However, we did get a really nice picture of these ground squirrels munching on the summer melon for food and moisture. Jump squats. No, jump squats.
He looks like Teletubbies. 7.
There, to you. There, to you. Thank you. There we go. There we go. Next one's 7, eh?
No.
Pasta pot. We use onions, dates to create sweetness. Our chicken stock and our chicken we do at home, just so that it's not too much of a mission to get it done here, and makes it a heck of a lot quicker. I just fry up the dates, fry up the onion with a little bit of butter. That is the our chicken, and I think there's a bit of veg in there as well.
No, mushroom.
No veg, just mushroom. Chicken mushroom. As we cook it up, we're probably going to add a bit of water to that, and then we're going to take. We got some noodles. Did it? Okay, so we usually use screw noodles, but we got these from Woolies. It's the Kgalagadi shells. We're going to try that for the first time, which is going to be quite nice. When this is all cooked up and the noodles have been added, we will throw some cream in, and then finish off with a little bit of cheese, and yeah, that's going to be incredible. Okay, so it's about 4:45 in the afternoon. We are at Polentswa. My kiddos in the A-frame, and Josh here playing with the stones. Our toilets. Okay, so we are in number 2. A little bit further down, that is number 1, and then to our right there is number 3. So at the moment we are alone. The closest people to us are about 60 kilometers away, which is in Nosop. So chances are that we are going to be here by ourselves for tonight. We've had lions roaring hectically over the past 2 nights. We had lions visiting us in the first night. Last night not as much, but yeah, exciting to be out in the wilderness, in the wild by yourself. Is our solar panel, keeping our fridge, keeping our battery up or charged, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good evening. Came across a lion and a lioness mating on the road. One of our children asked us during this, why does the male lion look so cross and angry when he's mating? I did a little bit of reading on the topic, not too deep, and one of the passages that I read suggested that the male lion nibbling on the female's neck and growling starts the ovulation process, which increases the chance of conception. I'm not entirely sure if this is true. It's just something I came across. There was lots on the topic, and 95% of them I didn't believe, but it was quite an interesting read.
Why was he growling?
I'm sure there's one thing that we can all agree upon, is that the sunsets in the Kgalagadi are right up there with the best in the world. On this particular evening, we came across and witnessed one of the best sunsets I think we've ever seen. Truly magical.
We were on our way back from the Polentswa waterhole at the time that the sun was setting, and we literally just stopped the car on the little road going to camp just to witness and watch the incredible changes in the sky.
When we thought the long drop toilets couldn't get any worse, it was one afternoon on the third day at Polentswa. I took a walk through to the long drop, and something made me look down in the long drop, and I saw something move. I shut the lid and ran to go get a torch. I discovered there was a puff adder inside the long drop moving around, and needless to say, we did not use that toilet again. We told the story to a fellow photographer camper, and he suggested that he was making his way back down to Tuerafurin, and he would inform one of the rangers of the snake in the loo so that he can come rescue it. I made sure that I wrote a note, and I placed the note on top of the lid and inside the lid, just to warn future residents at that camp that there is indeed a snake in the loo.
I remember sitting around the fire at the time my husband called me to bring a camera quick because there's a snake in the toilet, and I just absolutely thought he was joking. And he literally came back and said there is legitimately a snake in the toilet. And it was quite a terrifying thought that we had used that long drop toilet for 3 days, and that was our last night at camp number 2, to have discovered a puff adder in the toilet. And in all fairness, it wasn't that deep that the puff adder was sitting. I don't think the puff adder perhaps would have been able to reach up, but none of us were about to take that chance. For the remainder of that night, and then obviously the next day, we moved across to campsite number 1 for uses of the long drop if we needed it. We certainly were not going to use that long drop again. Our last night at Polentswa was spent at campsite number 1, and when we got our booking, we had booked 3 nights at Polentswa campsite number 2, and closer to the time I managed to get an extra night, but it did mean that we had to move to a different campsite number, which obviously we weren't too fussed about. So we'll see you next week, where we will share our final day at Polentswa. Until then, take care.